this is a young man who he's a passionate fashion stylist, and he has used the power of fashion to set an example and break through barriers. These barriers being systemic racism. So when you think about it, you think about the way that people sometimes look at you, or that feeling that you get when you're out and about, and you might just be hanging out with friends or having fun, and you might have this stigma, or you might catch this look of people walking by you. So he's used fashion to empower and to break through some of those stereotypes and that systemic racism. And it's been an amazing journey, and he's here to share that with you guys today. So I would like to introduce to you Mr. Quan Wallner Moore. He also goes by Calvino, so if we can call him to the stage.
There's people slouching in your chairs and stuff like that. So I just want to ask y'all a question. And that is first, just by a show of hands, I know we had that Drake and Kendrick battle, right? That rap battle that's going on. Just by a show of hands, who thought Kendrick won? Anybody? Show of hands. And make sure y'all see who it is that's saying that so y'all can argue when y'all get upstairs, because we got a lot. Who think Drake won? Anybody? Let's see, we got about 2, maybe 3. All right, I'm not gonna be long with you guys. It is some stuff that I do want to share with you guys. I'm gonna start off with just giving a little speech overview of some things that I do want to tackle. And then after that, we can start going into some bullets. But gentlemen, today I stand before you to talk about the profound journey of overcoming obstacles with resilience. Growing up in a single mother household as a young African American male without a father figure, navigating through life and the challenges that it presented for me was a big struggle. As time progressed, what once seemed easy transformed into struggles, and what once seemed cool became the norm. It is crucial to realize that our 20s are not just for living carelessly, but for implementing the lessons learned and skills acquired to shape you guys' future and careers. Overcoming these hurdles was both demanding and essential, especially considering the lack of educational opportunities that I had as a youth. Reflecting on these journeys, I've come to understand the significant impact people have on shaping our insecurities and confidence over the years. And realization underscores the influence individuals have on each other, often steering our youth towards similar career paths like music, barbering, and also sports. So however, it is vital to recognize that each of us, with our unique gifts bestowed upon us as African American heritage, we possess a distinct purpose that society may attempt to suppress. Understanding this purpose is key to unlocking our full potential. Let us embrace our resilience, acknowledge the strengths that we have, and also strive to fulfill our unique destiny as well as dreams. So I do want to I just wanted to give that little brief little speech to give an overview when it comes to me and just some things that I experienced. Now I just want to talk about just like what Calvino Closet stands for, how I came up with it, how I came up with the name Calvino. Calvino Closet, when you think of Calvino Closet, you probably just think maybe it's a boutique or a men's store where you could come in and probably find some drip. Whether that is suits, whether it is vests, vintage clothing, street clothing, you name it, you probably can find it. Unfortunately for me, I really have to go about explaining that Calvino Closet is really a non-for-profit organization that is so much more than just getting dressed. I fight every day to fight against the systematic oppression that we deal with as African Americans every single day, not just as people, but as men. So it was tough for me. I would say that for a lot of the individuals here as well, a lot of their business plans was successful. This is why they're here today. But for me, the business plan that I came up with that was very long, it is right here, which is Calvino Closet, and unfortunately, my business plan failed miserably. Okay, right, you can laugh, it's okay. It failed miserably due to the fact that I'm in Rochester, New York. I'm not in New York City. I'm not in Philadelphia, right? And these are high-class fashion places. So I had to make up in my mind and say, okay, I'm getting into my 20s. I grew up in a single mother household, so there's a lot of different things that I had to unlearn. And that was a lot of my 20s. Now, ideally, for other cultures and other ethnicities throughout America, they're teaching their families, let alone their children, the importance of structure, scheduling, and time management in their teenage years. So by the time they get to their 20s, now all they're doing is taking what it is that they have inherited and now they're applying it in action in their 20s. Right? But now you got us African Americans in our culture where there are so many things that we have to fight on both ends of the stick, where by the time we get to our 20s, we're just beginning to be the stage where we're trying to figure out life. Am I wrong? Right? So we get to that point. So now we is out of our parents' home and we're like, okay, we're men. In our head, we're delusional, right? We only can identify ourselves as men, but we really not understanding what are some things that come with identifying yourself as being a man. And there were some things that, there was an individual he mentioned, and I think it's Shay, right? Did I say it right? He also mentioned emotional intelligence. I think that is a big one, because for me, I'm 27 years old now, and if I look back on any problems that I have had in my life, any money that I have lost, any criminal, anything that I had gotten into, to be honest with you, the only thing that have been my biggest downfall is being in relationships. Being with women, right? Wanting to give my time to women and give my focus to women when that could be my time to really build what it is that I need for myself. So getting back to that word, emotional intelligence, I think for me, right, growing up in a single mother household, not having a father figure whatsoever in my life, I completely lacked the term of emotional intelligence. I feel like when you have a male figure in your life and a strong one at that, those are the type of things that you inherited, which is emotional intelligence from your father. So when you don't have that type of stuff, you are literally walking into life with just only having the identity that you are a man, but not understanding specifically what it takes to actually be one, which is not just providing, which is not just protecting your family when an intruder is coming in, it's also controlling your feelings, right? And I also just mentioned where mine was a big issue, and it was controlling my feelings in ways with being in a relationship. And if it's anything that you guys can learn from that, I would just say, just make sure if it's anybody that's fighting, that's in a single mother household, or just fighting to have that male figure, I would say look up that word, emotional intelligence, and really try to practice what that means in controlling your decision making and controlling your emotions, because emotions plays a factor in your decision making, right? And how can you clearly be able to make a decision if you're here at all times? And it's totally understandable that, like I said, us as Black African American men, we have to fight from both ends of the stick outside of other cultures. So it's so easy for us to walk around public and look at everybody else and say, damn, right? Just being real with you. How do they just get to have all this? What is the catch that every single time these same other cultures, they all graduate, they all get cars when they're 16 and 17, right? They all experience prom, right? They all get grades and different things like that, not understanding that in our culture and in the city, there's so many other things that we have to fight. So to not really be on that point too much, I also wanted to explain my process and how Calvino Closet came about. Due to the fact of knowing that my business plan failed miserably, I had to understand that I'm not a person that like to work for anybody. Is anybody by the show of hands that is okay with really, well, I really can't say that because you guys are young, but as far as adults, is it anybody that really was okay with working for anybody? No, right? I mean, it's not something that we want to do. So for me, I had to really understand. There's a coach of mine, which is Terrell Cunningham. He was my football coach. I have another mentor, which is Nellie Epic in the back. Lavon Jones, which is another mentor. At some point, my journey and what it is that I wanted to do had to start coming into light. And I had to understand that if success is not working for me right now in action, that the only thing that I can really hold to myself is my character and my integrity. So the biggest thing for me is if we was to go on about things that I have done, a lot of things have been tremendous. I was mentioned in Forbes. There's a picture up with me in it, not due to my net worth, but just due to affiliations. I have many different published articles written about me. I'm in different magazines and different things like that. I say that to say, when people ask me how did I get involved in those type of accomplishments, or people want to write different stories about me, I just let them know that it didn't take no hard work at all. And people kind of look at me like, what do you mean? I've always heard that when it comes to succeeding and doing things in your life, that you need to work hard to get that thing done. And for me, the reason I say that I didn't have to work hard when it comes to that specifically is because I've always kept my good bridges. I grew up in the city. I went to city school districts. I've been to maybe about 5 different schools from being kicked out of every single one of them. If there's anybody you want to use to attest to what my mentor was like as being a student, you could just ask Terrell Cunningham. You know, one thing I've always knew that I heard from people and mentors was that you're going to be something special. You're going to be something unique, right? Because these are individuals who have been already in those paths. So they're able to identify other people who are walking in that light. But the thing is, for me, it was so much more outside of just, you're going to be unique. I had to start to get older and really try to hear those same sayings and figure out what is it that is unique about me. And that's what I started to evaluate. School was never for me. That's not to say that school is not important. But like I said, I had to really navigate what it is that I wanted to do with hearing so much that I was going to be unique. And one thing that I ended up doing was I woke up one day and I said, you know what? If there was anything that I was told when it comes to being unique, I've always heard that I can dress. I was a very good dresser. I could put that drip on or whatever they would call it. And I also knew that I was an activist in the community as well. So I was like, I like to fight activism and change it for the youth, and I like to do fashion. These are 2 things that is a strong suit for me. So I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna actually put it together. I'm gonna see how I can take fashion and represent creating identity for Black African American men in all the right ways. And that's when I started doing research and brainstorming, and I came to find that one of my biggest hashtags is that fashion is not a price, it's not a material, and it's not a brand, it is your identity. Due to the fact of the type of skill level that I have, I can almost analyze the room, and depending on how your body language is and the type of clothing that you have on, I can tell how your personality is, things that you may like, things that you may not like, and how your mood is due to how people get dressed. So I say that to say, if there's anything that you want to do in life at you guys' ages right now, we're going to school. If you can't figure it out now, if you really don't know and you can't put a finger on it, just understand that if there's anything that you can do right now, keep good bridges with people who love you and support you. Continue to keep good bridges with your mentors and people that look out for you. Because when you're facing challenges in life as you guys get older, I promise you, you're gonna have these same people within your circle that while you're still stagnant, these people around you are still elevating. So when you can't find that next dollar, or you can't find that next opportunity in life, right? Or you coming across an obstacle, still remember, keeping those good bridges in life, you can always have that one person to call, right? So I say that to say a lot of the different opportunities and a lot of different things that I was written in, I was asleep, and literally I was woken up by a phone call with slob still down my mouth, and somebody's like, hey, I got your number, here's an opportunity, I wanted to see, I heard a lot about you, I want to see if you can do it, right? So from looking at it from the accomplishment standpoint, people are like, wow, this is amazing, but I'm looking at it like, I didn't do nothing, right? But what I did do, where my hard work came in, was keeping those good bridges. It takes hard work to keep good bridges and keep good relationships with people, because that's time, that's energy, you know? So I would just say that for you youth, you know, I don't have this big, you know, workshop as far as what it is that you need to do to be successful, but I would say definitely keeping good bridges, knowing that you're unique, finding out now what it is that you want to do, and understanding that you can create a game plan to get it done, no matter what it is. You don't have to limit yourself to sports. You don't have to limit yourself to being a barber. You don't have to limit yourself to any of those type of things. Not that any of those things are not great careers, because as you see, it makes good money, but there's so many different other things that you can do. And here I am as a guy, 27 years old, as a personal stylist, who did maybe 32 weddings last year. Out of the 5 years that I've been in business, I probably styled about 13 people. So in 4 years, that's not a lot at all. But what did I tell you guys? My business plan failed miserably. So my resilience and waking up every day understanding that I'm in a city where my business plan is not supposed to work, but I'm still doing 30 weddings a year. I'm getting calls for prom more and more every single year, and I'm styling people, and also got about 3 different contracts with CEOs downtown where I get them dressed for different conferences and events that they may have throughout the city of Rochester. And I was a young boy who got kicked out of every single school, who didn't care to go to college. I didn't think none of that was important. I just knew that there was something about me that would get the job done, right? But I appreciate that. But like I said, right now, guys, I'm going backwards, and this is what I don't want you guys to do. Me being self-motivated and understanding that I was unique and there was a lot of different things that I could do is what stopped me from going to college, and understanding that there were still tools and classes in college that is still appropriate to have and to know to be able to navigate through life, right? So I'm up to the point where I use my skill and my uniqueness about myself to brand my business to a certain level, to be on Black Business Rochester page. Any type of business page you could think of, you'll see that logo, But I worked hard to get to those points. And like I said before, when I didn't know where money was gonna come from, and when I thought I was gonna quit out on all this, I had different mentors and people in my circle who can build me back up to let me know, you can do it, and it can work. So I'm a living testament to that right now. And just my last point. So one of them was, you don't need a master's degree to master your skill. And I'm gonna say that one more time, just if that passed by you guys. You don't need a master's degree to master your skill. So what that means is, spend this time right now while you guys are in school figuring out what it is that you wanna do. And like Keith and like other individuals said, write it on paper, right? If you Google, you'll see all different type of millionaires and billionaires that's you guys' ages right now, right? So this is why I say it's important not to wait for 20s. But just do me a favor, just make sure that you write it down. Do that today, figure out what it is that you want or that you want to do in your life, write it down. And if you don't know yet, start planning on that. And the more you think about it, you get it on paper and you see it, law of attraction, energy, and your 110% commitment to your manifestation is going to work everything out for you. Only when you try to control your life and your decision makings is when things is going to blow up on you. But that's really all I want to say to you guys. I hope some points made sense to you guys, but just keep fighting, keep going, and understand that it was Kendrick that won, not Drake.